guys, let's run. I should do that. Let's run it down and everybody cheering. Oh my God, Chris, I love you. Here's my panties. And throw it on the stage. There you go.
God.
There you go.
Yeah.
Babe, what's the first topic of the week?
From TikTok, Destinee Stark highlighted the intentional racial dog whistles in the song Try That in a Small Town by Jason Aldean. From where the video was shot at the Maury County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, the same site where a terror lynching occurred, to the lyrics being perceived by most as a warning that this is the history and what they are capable of.
Yeah. Have y'all all watched her TikToks? Because I have. I've watched every single one.
I found it and then just went through them all.
So she was brilliant. She did a breakdown of the video because the backlash came from the video too, because it sort of supported this idea of the racism. And he claimed that all of the footage that he used in his videos was of riots that happened here.
It's all news.
It's all news riots. And I'm like, no, it's not.
It's not current news.
It's not current, nor is it in our country.
Right.
And a lot of it was like you purchase these
she used some stock
stuff.
Photos, and they had
like
stuff.
no, not just stock photos, but stock video. Literally stock video of riot, like somebody making a Molotov cocktail.
Some of them were just protests.
And some of them weren't even protests. Some of them were like, they were part of there was some market or something going on, and it was just people there, and they had the police there, and it was in some other country. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Germany, Canada. I'm trying to think of the.
There was another one, but I can't. Yes. Yeah, I can't remember fully. I'd have to watch her videos again. But I was like, how can someone claim this and then not expect someone to do the research on it? It's easy to find, like truly easy to find this information. She was like, here it is. All I had to do was Google this.
Usually it is. But people never want to take the time to actually.
But with as much controversy as he knew, he had to know that this was going to cause and that people were going to do their research. This was stupid.
And I even sent him another one. I guess I don't watch a lot of music videos anymore like I did in the day. So apparently he also has a lyric only video. So it's not
that video with
and she even broke that down because she's like, all of the video is newspaper clippings of just his lyrics. Yeah. And she goes, that's pretty standard stuff. Yeah. I mean, and it's just his lyrics made to look like a newspaper. No big deal. Except for one part where they sing the chorus. It says, try that in a small town. And there's newspaper clippings behind it. That's a real newspaper. And she found it, word for word, from like I sent it to Chris. I can't remember, 1950 something, 1960. Mm-hmm. That was an article where a man had written about a bunch of racial stuff. Yeah.
Like, why deny it at this point?
Like, she was like, why, if you had no intentions of anything bad, why not just continue to keep putting just your lyrics as newspapers through the whole video? What was the point in that spot using a real article about something that was why?
It's so stupid to think that, for anybody to think that this isn't a racially driven song. It's just stupid. If you're going to create that argument, you're stupid. That's what I'm going with. And it's absolutely asinine for you to think that other people are going to really believe this lie. The people that are critical thinkers are not going to believe this lie. The people who are sheep are going to, maybe. If they're a sheep on your side of this racism doesn't exist, racism isn't a thing argument, you'll get those people.
There's a lot of people who are like, well, he didn't write the song.
But he sang it.
And he didn't make his video. We're kind of back to that same spot where people go, oh, well, I know no black people I know ever have had anything bad happen to them. Okay, but that doesn't mean that all...
I hate that argument so much.
So they're going, well, I'm from a small town, and our small town was fabulous. So he's singing about great things.
For you, it was fabulous.
Right, you're like, but you're saying that every town is that way.
It could have still been in this small town.
You're also assuming that everything in our town was great for everyone. And
exactly. You know what that's the equivalent of? Take the clock back. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Let's take the clock back to 1955. Things were great in my town, for me and my family, everything was all perfect. I mean, yeah, and literally probably giving that interview while there's a dude swinging from the tree.
I know.
While he's saying it. Everybody, I've never had any problems here.
I mean, there are things that we're taught that we don't even realize is a racist act, just as a white person, that we're just taught in our society, in our the way that we're brought up, just because of how it's taught to them, that we still have to combat. As somebody who I feel I'm not as a whole racist, but I'm sure I do things that could possibly be considered racist to someone else that I still need to work on,
I mean,
that
I
I still have to fight. And I have to be critical of myself for that. And I have to recognize that and be mindful. And that's still something that I actively need to try to do. And the fact that people don't even want to recognize that because they don't want to be considered racist, we are all racist on a scale.
There's also a lot of people in the, keyboard warriors who are like, I don't see this song is great to me, and I don't know why anybody cares, because all rap music is just kill, shoot, drugs, die. So you don't have a problem with that being out there.
Well, because there's a difference between what rap music was doing back in when it was first created, when it was reporting what was going on in the streets that the news would never ever cover. In comparison to don't try this in a small town where you deliberately film. See, rappers like NWA, where they would film in certain locations or show certain images with F the police and things like that. I'm sorry, this is the Rundown After Dark. I'm sorry, fuck the police. Where they were reporting about what was going on in to them that nobody really believed. I mean, Dave Chappelle even said it, had a perfect sketch for it when they did the wife swap thing, and then both the spouses kind of got a taste of what goes on in each house. Like, there was a scene where the white man was reading when he was with the black family, saw the Ebony magazine or the Jet magazine and read one of the articles, and he was like, he was shocked. Oh my God, racial profiling. What is this? Oh my God. And then on the black side, on the white family's house, the black guy was all like, who the fuck is Renee Zellweger? So, I mean, people, it always baffles me how there's always two arguments from the same people. Because it's always, when a cop does something, one bad apple is going to spoil the whole bunch. You're always talking about a damn bad apple. But then at the same time, that same person will blindly defend to the death a dude like Jason Aldean. Whatever happened to the bad apple? The person has to be undeniably racist for people to throw that damn bad apple away. Just call him a bad apple.
Instead of just saying, yeah, I agree. Okay, I didn't see it that way. Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. It's always, yeah, but they did.
I know.
But he did.
It's the point the finger. It's the point.
What does that fix by just going, they did it, or he did it, or they're...
Being mindful of oneself seems to be an incapability of the masses. They cannot sit there and go, here's this finger that I'm pointing at everyone else. Let me see what I can point at myself and work on myself with. Yeah. It seems to be this characteristic that people are lacking these days. Exactly. And one of the comparisons they did of songs was WAP.
You don't have to lean. You can just look right in the camera.
I was trying to tell you, was
WAP. I'm here.
They used WAP. I go, really? You're going to use a female driven, finally owning her sexuality and putting it out there and not being ashamed of it as the comparison of somebody basically saying racism is okay in a small town.
It's like hubbub back in the day when it happened, but it still was on mainstream radio. We had George Michael's I Want Your Sex. People went nuts about that.
And he was a gay man. Throw that in there.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole I'm
already tired
row of things that we could talk about on this. So all the controversy that Mr. what's his name Aldean had was covered on, like, what was the young lady from TikTok?
Destinee Stark.
And I believe there was an article from Rolling Stones that also discussed. They ran down his whole controversy timeline. So here's when I was talking earlier about how, like I said, they always say stuff like, well, one bad apple shouldn't spoil he's the bad apple. Okay. Well,
let's remove him.
Throw him. Then throw this one away.
Yeah.
People always get tribal and they try to circle wagons around. So I'm like, stop giving me that bad apple bullshit, because when people can get away with it, they'll try to protect and try to act like it's not a big deal. But it shit has to be 100%. He would have to, with the KKK group behind him and a burning cross behind him, have to say the N-word 9,078 times before you go, okay, maybe that was a little racist.
We also watched that was on TikTok too, the skit with Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's playing his songs and he's like, dude, that's racist.
Yeah.
What are you talking
We're talking about? I'm black. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on the Candace Owens effect, where it's like you can have a million people in the community that it affects saying one thing, but all you need to counter it is just one grifter. By the way, I'm not going to call her. I'm going to say she's she's a grifter. You're being grifted, but it doesn't matter to you because it gives that cover of the narrative that you want. Yeah. All you need is that one Negro that says the opposite of what everybody else is saying, and then you're like, see,
this one person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, but forget what 1 million black people hate it, but I got Candace Owens. Yeah. So the Rolling Stones, they did a breakdown of their.
Reading this makes me angry, by the way.
Of their of Mr. Aldean's little history here, babe. What was the first one?
2015. He says he can't tell female singers apart. He ventured to theorize that they all women sound the same.
Yeah, you saw my female country singers specifically. On October 2015, Aldean also. He wears blackface to a Halloween party, but hey, it's cool because he was doing Lil Wayne.
Which is a real fucking person. It's not a character. Yeah, you can't even argue that. Like you got zero argument.
I wouldn't care if he wore the chain and the clothes that Lil Wayne wears. Well, why do you have to go all the way to the makeup? Right, but also, what was the next one?
He wears
2015 to 2019
Confederate flag shirt on stage. Mm-hmm. I mean that's pretty typical.
And more recent, October 2020, Aldean poses maskless at Disney World during the COVID restriction.
Of course he did, because he's an asshole.
And then a year ago, September, a PR company cuts ties with Aldean over his wife's transphobic social media post saying, "I'd really like to thank my parents for not changing my gender when I went through my tomboy phase."
I really hate this. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes me angry. You're talking to a tomboy. You're talking to someone who literally went through that stage. And it wasn't for me about my gender at that point. It was about what I wanted to do and what was acceptable for girls and what wasn't acceptable for girls, because I enjoyed the things that were acceptable for boys, but not for me. And I'm older. I'm 39.
Wait, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light, but I had to catch that. And now she literally lives that. She enjoys the things that are acceptable for boys. Straight les business, baby.
Oh, yeah, woo! It'd be true. No lies.
I'm sorry, I couldn't let that one go.
Hey, I've known since middle school, so 7th grade, gotcha.
I want to be where the gentlemen are.
Exactly. And Little Mermaid was my favorite movie, so that tells you something.
Oh, God.
But like, I was literally... I raced dirt bikes. I played every sport. I played baseball, not softball, because I hated softball.
There's a problem with that. The idea that that's only a boys activity.
So this concept of, I'm so glad they didn't change my gender because I was a tomboy. Look, I get what you're trying to say. Like, you're trying to say, hey, I did all these things that boys enjoyed, but I didn't want to be a boy. And that does exist. I am that person. I wanted to be in the Boy Scouts because I didn't want to fucking glue macaroni onto a can in Girl Scouts. I wanted to fucking go rock climbing and canoeing and wanted to do all the fun things that I couldn't do in Girl Scouts. And there are people and children out there who do not feel like they are the gender that they are, and they deserve, because they're children, they deserve to be heard, they deserve to be acknowledged, and they deserve to get the care that they need. And for anybody to deny that to a child who truly feels, I never questioned my gender. I questioned activities. Those are not the same goddamn thing.
People have lost the ability to say, I don't agree with the way you live, but I respect you as a person, and you do your thing, and I don't care. You live your life and do your thing.
That used to be a saying. Like,
but they can't be that way anymore. They feel like they need to have a say so in all of it.
That used to be a saying in politics. though I don't agree with your your political stance, I will defend to the death your right to say it.
But
that used to be a
where
thing.
their argument comes into play, which I feel like is a contradiction or a hypocrisy, is they claim that when a parent has created a safe space for their child and they've both discussed this opportunity for them to explore what their gender could be through medical aspects, through therapy, through whatever it may be that they're doing in the transgendered environment, and those people that have their best interests, their parent and the child and their doctors, and then you've got people who disagree with your lifestyle coming in going, no, you don't get to make those decisions for that person, who have nothing to do with their fucking life.
I feel like they know how that works. Like it's a very...
But yet they have they're not a doctor.
Like
they're not anything.
They feel like, oh, it's like going to Walmart and you just take it off a shelf and go check it out and we're done. Like that's how it works.
That's not how it
and
works.
They don't understand that, honey, none of this is taken lightly.
Yeah.
No. No parent is going into this going, like, I hope my child struggles with their gender.
Like the amount of...
wrap it up. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Therapy and... the stuff that has to be involved, and it's a very long process.
I agree.
So no one's taking it lightly, but people imagine in their minds that's what they've already decided.
Makes no
that
sense.
It's just like selecting it off a shelf and going, okay, thank you. Like that's how that works.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
because people are idiots.
Oh, and before I move on to the next topic, you also before we went live, you said that because I said this was all by design. He's not stupid. He knows what he was doing, and the fact that. When people complained and told him specifically with receipts the history of the building that he shot in front of and whatnot, even if you do give him the benefit of doubt of not knowing, you were told after the fact and then you acted like it didn't matter or it didn't happen. Look, I mean it is what it is. But you said before we went live, you said this boosted his.
Oh, so yeah, he didn't care because he's number one.
Yeah.
So he's just like, sweet, y'all keep arguing about it
My
and
song will
watching
be
my
number
song
one.
and streaming it because
this is why I'm done talking. This is why I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Tyler, which is why
I'm out there for your video, man.
I watched it and liked it and.
Yeah, I'm out there for
not
your
Jason
video,
Aldean,
Tyler. That Tyler video, it's like a love song or something. Love song, I think it's what's called.
I didn't feel like crying this afternoon.
But yeah, it's a tearjerker.
But it was.
It's definitely
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely a tearjerker.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, like, and comment your thoughts on this topic or any topics that you think that we should talk about in upcoming videos. Also, you can follow us at T3 Medias on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and we also have a T3 Media Studios podcast where we post our movie reviews and episodes of The Rundown. Till next time, guys.